By the time many people reach their mid-20s or early 30s, a certain heaviness or darkness seems to cast a shadow over their faces. This is noticeable in many young adults today, regardless of their background, Muslim, non-Muslim, or otherwise. If you observe young people closely, you'll notice something remarkable. They often carry a certain radiance, a light that emanates from within. This light stems from a purity of spirit, a natural result of not having accumulated the burden of countless wrong actions. Think about it. When you see young people who lack this light, it immediately signals that something is deeply amiss. Youthfulness itself has an inherent brilliance, an energy that springs from vigor, vitality, and innocence. This is why young children are universally captivating. People are drawn to their faces because of the untainted purity reflected there. Children represent a state of innocence, untouched by the weight of wrongdoings or the scars of a troubled conscience. It's this natural purity that instinctively attracts us. But unfortunately in our world, this attraction to purity sometimes takes a dark and twisted turn. This distortion is not limited to one culture or society. It's a problem that spans the globe, including within the Muslim world. People with corrupt hearts or misguided intentions attempt to exploit what is pure, seeking to defile it. This defilement is a hallmark of a diseased soul. In Islamic terminology, this kind of pollution or corruption is akin to what is called kat in Arabic, a word that describes stirring up the sediment at the bottom of a clear pond. Imagine a crystal clear pond where you can see straight to the bottom, but once disturbed, it becomes murky and unclear. The human soul is much like that pond. When left undisturbed, it remains pure and transparent, allowing its innate goodness and light to shine through. However, when subjected to spiritual pollution, whether through sin, disobedience, or unchecked desires, it becomes clouded. This murkiness hides the purity that was once there. After all, we are made from clay, but we are also infused with spirit. The balance between these two elements determines what manifests in our character and outward appearance. When the spiritual aspect dominates, the light of the soul shines through. When the base earthly nature takes over, darkness descends. This duality is reflected in the aging process as well. The light of old age does not come from youthfulness or physical vitality. Rather, it emanates from righteousness, obedience, and a life well lived in service to Allah. Conversely, the darkness that often clouds the faces of the elderly stems from years of disobedience and heedlessness. This is a profound truth that underscores the impact of our actions on both our inner and outer selves. If you were to conduct an experiment, gathering photographs of elderly people known for their righteousness and comparing them to those who spent their lives immersed in the distractions of the dunya, worldly life, the difference would be striking. Simply observing their faces would reveal where true beauty and peace lie. This is not about worldly knowledge or sophistication. You'll often find the most serene and luminous faces among the simplest people in remote villages, individuals who may not possess formal education, but whose lives are steeped in piety and devotion. For instance, take the villagers in places like Mauritania. Many of them lead humble, unassuming lives, yet their devotion is awe-inspiring. I could show you individuals who are considered ordinary by their community's standards, yet they achieve spiritual feats that many of us can only aspire to. These are people who recite an entire juz section of the Quran every morning and evening, send blessings upon the Prophet, peace be upon him, with remarkable consistency, and fast regularly, observing the 3 white days of each lunar month. Despite their meager means, they give generously in charity, often sacrificing what little they have. For them, a small act of giving holds immense weight, comparable to a far greater contribution by someone more privileged. This comparison serves as a humbling reminder of the disparity between their spiritual discipline and ours. It also highlights the dangers of arrogance and complacency. In the age we live in, even minimal efforts in practicing faith can lead some to develop an inflated sense of self-importance. Yet true taqwa, God consciousness, requires constant vigilance against such traps, for the nafs, self, is inherently deceptive. It thrives on delusion and seeks to inflate our egos, drawing us away from sincerity. This is where the concept of spiritual purification becomes critical. Without consistent self-reflection and discipline, the nafs can lead us astray, veiling the light of the soul. It is this veiling that results in the darkness many people carry on their faces as they age. Those who strive to purify their hearts, however, find that this light only grows with time. The faces of the righteous reflect a serenity and contentment that cannot be fabricated. It is the result of years of dedication, prayer, and sincere worship. The modern world, with its distractions and temptations, makes this journey even more challenging. Technology, media, and materialism constantly pull us away from the simplicity and focus required for spiritual growth. Yet technology can also be harnessed for good. Platforms like the One Islam TV app demonstrate how we can use these tools to spread the light of Islam and reconnect with our faith. By integrating such resources into our lives, we can counteract the negativity and chaos around us, using the same tools that often distract us to instead deepen our connection with Allah. As we navigate the complexities of this era, it's essential to remember the value of sincerity, humility, and perseverance. The path of righteousness is not always easy, but the rewards are immeasurable, both in this life and the hereafter. Each moment presents an opportunity to renew our intentions, seek forgiveness, and strive toward becoming the best versions of ourselves. Let us reflect on the faces we wish to see in the mirror as we age. Do we want faces marked by regret, bitterness, and the shadows of a life squandered? Or do we aspire to have faces that radiate peace, contentment, and the light of faith? The choice is ours, and it is shaped by the actions we take each day. May Allah guide us all to live lives that are pleasing to Him, so that we may shine with His light in this world and the next.